What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You know what time it is. We are back, not live on direct, but it is episode 85 in the mix. Shout out, big baby. Before we get started, I got a special host. As always, no financial advice. And if you got yourself an iPhone and or an Android, do yourself a favor. Download the FTX app. Stay up to date with the latest cryptocurrencies and NFTs. I am your host, Gaddis TV. What's going on, y'all? And let's get to it. All right, and we're overall live and direct slash people can see us now. So first off, Archie, I want to say thank you for coming on and taking some time out of your I guess afternoon now, and just sharing a little bit about yourself. So I appreciate you for coming on and just take some time.
Thanks for having me on, man. Love the show. So yeah, great to be here.
I appreciate it. I know well, we initially talked, I want to say maybe a month, maybe two ago, but time flies, and glad to have you back on, and I guess not back on, but back on in general. But usually how we do start it off, for some people that do know you, some people that won't, really just a quick background about yourself. How did you find Solana and cryptocurrency in general? And then what were you doing, I guess, before photography, the artistry, and Solana wise? Just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm minting abstract art on Solana currently, and have been for maybe the past 3 or 4 months. Got into sort of NFT space in like September, October, originally on Tez, um, and sort of minted a few pieces there, and really enjoyed it, and sort of just started vibing with people on Twitter. And then, yeah, Quincy, the Boogle, as we probably all know, especially all the sort of artist friends, put a piece on Tezos, and we just had a really good chat. Lots of good DMs, and without even sort of like forcing me, or not even trying to persuade me, sort of talked about Solana and ended up minting there and selling one or two pieces, and then building a collection from there, which is called Fragmented Expressions, and that's sort of what I've been working on for the past few months, and just taking it easy with the supply and sharing some other works along the way, and yeah, that's about it really. It's been surreal and it's definitely full on, but yeah, loving it and just so grateful for like all the people I've met and all the collectors that I've been lucky to sell to.
So you started, I guess, started first selling your stuff on Tezo. Have you always been, I guess, an artist abstract? Is it painting, or I guess, do you have like a certain go to? Is it like, again, like the paintings, or is it like on Photoshop, things like that? When did you first, I guess, first honestly start like enjoying that type of art?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I guess first up, in terms of like the type of abstraction, yeah, definitely don't count myself as a sort of traditional fine artist, with physicals. Even though that's a big part of my process. Um, that's how it sort of starts. Most of my pieces originate from a physical painting, so they might be, what I see as really nice and complete, or sometimes they might be, completely random, sort of more like studies. And then I take them into sort of a digital world by scanning them in and manipulating them, and repainting them in some cases, like my main collection, which looks at that. And it's quite a fun process to dive into and look at different pathways to create different outcomes. So that's sort of um, most of the abstract work that I've been focusing on for now. And in terms of how I fell into that, um, it's pretty interesting, I guess. Like, might go on a bit of a tangent here, but
More than
um,
welcome.
started sort of learning the Adobe suite and just sort of like editing and different programs in general when I was like really young, like 12, 11, 13, 14, back in the day when I was like editing like COD montages. So
Nice.
it's quite a it's quite a Gen Z upbringing. But that's sort of how I've developed like skills in those programs and sort of had a creative eye since I was young. And sort of always over edited people's clips, which kind of links to sort of wanting to create something a bit more abstract and something that's more focused on a mood rather than what's actually being trying to show off. So yeah, that sort of transitioned into photography growing up. And then yeah, I guess falling into a degree and just growing up a bit more, I sort of fell out of it a bit. I've been fortunate to travel a lot growing up. So I was really big into the travel photography stuff. Um, and then it sort of just fizzled out, I guess. And I mean, traveling less didn't help with that. Sort of fizzled more into event photography work on weekends.
Nice.
Um, then yeah, in with my degree, we had one class where it was all just about making experimental art, and I guess that's where I fell into more of an abstract passion for abstract really grew, and yeah, just been exploring it on and off since then, and obviously since coming into NFT stuff, um, it's just yeah, I've just exploded into it even more, and it's yeah, awesome.
Nice. So overall, the COD stuff, I kind of get it because I was that dude watching CS:GO montages, CS1s, just stuff looking sick. Looking back hindsight, because of course, looking back hindsight, it's always easier to be like, oh dang, I would have known things like that. Um, did you ever see yourself? I guess before like the art stuff, did you really know about crypto in that sense of it? Maybe not at 11 or 12, but um, like, did you ever see yourself into either Tezo or Solana, ETH, like that realm? How did I guess that transition going from Web 2 to Tezo? Because that's I think what you said you came on first.
Yeah,
How was that transition first there for maybe the Web 2 artists that are thinking, man, I'm thinking about I want to try it, but I'm a little
yeah,
timid. Like how did that start? What was that story?
yeah. It's a really interesting topic, like the transition, because I remember seeing a video about NFTs and stuff like before I jumped in and just had the general view like this is a bit silly, um, buying JPEGs, etc. The general view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then yeah, over time I actually have a little brother who was buying like PFP stuff on Solana actually.
Oh, nice.
Again, I sort of disregarded it. Um, and yeah, we actually had like a very brief discussion around, hey, you can make things. You're an artist. You should be putting things up. So as soon as he said that, I had a closer look and ended up on Tez was sort of I think it was just a natural option at the time with it being sort of more underground and cool and cheap and environmentally friendly. Just all the things that like Solana are now. I guess it just took me a little longer to discover it as it's just far newer and um, Hen Marketplace and stuff like that was really popular at the time. And yeah, I guess I hadn't looked at ETH either due to the gas fees. I was I was planning on releasing there initially, but yeah, fell into Solana and um, yeah, haven't really looked back.
Nice. And then the you're probably gonna get butchered in the comments for this one, but the person who brought you in, I'm pretty sure you said it was he or she. What was it was a Boogle. I guess
Yeah.
so. They had some of their artwork on Tezo. What was it? Honestly, like artist to artist, like it captured, I guess, y'all's eyes.
Oh,
Started talking like that way, or how how
yeah,
did they bring you over in Solana? Because that's some alchemy right
yeah.
there.
Quincy is one of the best, if not the best, sort of like collector leader of the artistry pack, um, especially in terms of abstract stuff. I'd say. Um, so he's just the legend. He writes threads on artists almost every week, different mediums, different thoughts. Always really open minded and always cares about the process as well.
Nice.
But essentially, the way we connected, I can't even remember to be honest. It was just a um, spontaneous
True.
sort of saw one of my pieces on like as a tweet and said I'd love to buy it. So we organized something and we just kept talking and yeah, and he has helped me so much. Like I think obviously I've put in so much work and my pieces have value, but I think being able to be have someone champion your work and be transitioned across like that really did help. So yeah, I owe the man so much.
With I guess with kind of the creative process, I get to a quick second because I always love hearing people's creative process on that. You said you started it out, I guess, editing, doing like the video editings, and going to the transition into the photography, and kind of things that you are now. Do you still mess with the photography at all that way, or is it more kind of what you're doing now? Or I guess do you kind of remember that transition phase where it was like, yo, photography is cool, the editing videos are cool, but I guess like you said the class in I think you said college. What was that like that click moment for this, or when was that? Hey, let me get into photography.
Yeah, I mean the click moment for photography, I don't really remember. I think it was just like it just really just grew into it at, when I was younger. Um, but yeah, with the click moment with abstract, it was a class at uni actually, um, where we had to make pretty much we had to make album cover designs for four different music genres. So really fun, really open ended. The only thing was you have to try different mediums, and so you're forced to try something new and do these experimental approaches. And one that really stuck with me was just doing acrylic pours, which is sort of the work that Kid does. Um, and so sort of went with that approach. And then I guess I always wanted to sort of do more with it. So yeah, like having that skill, those previous skills of editing and taking things to an extreme, like a digital file and turning it into something else. I was able to do that with a new medium in paint, like with physical scans. So yeah, it was just mind blowing, expansive, and excited me. And answer your question about whether there's a balance between that and photography now, I guess there still is. I haven't um, really done many sort of passion projects or just made things for photography's sake um, in the past year or so. But I did recently go shoot for a uni project, and I actually posted some of the photos the other day, and they were just a mood. It's very moody, and I love them. I hadn't shot in that location for years, so I'd say the love's still there, man, for sure.
Nice. With I guess we're looking back, Heinz, because I'm a visual person. And when you said the
Yep.
acrylic pour, that just seemed like aesthetically pleasing. Is that I don't know if you can kind of see like the I guess the art that you have on here that you had on one of the auctions. Is that kind of how that is done, or is that a acrylic pour for the visual people as not basic, but as basic as it sounds like you got paint and you're pouring it on there, or how like what is that process?
Yeah, acrylic pours isn't actually a part of this piece here. I can run through that, but um, yeah, essentially this one is more a combination of palette knife pieces. So within this digital piece, there's actually about three or four separate acrylic paintings done with a palette knife, which is why you can sort of see those really textural and sharp strokes. Um, so yeah, this was a really fun one, and I did a thread when I first released it initially, just talking about its connection to my mental health and how most of my abstract work really just links well to like the idea of chaos and um, just yeah, just our everyday struggles with battling information, anxieties, and things like and deep things like that. So yeah, this one really connects, and it popped off, and yeah, it was surreal.
No, I like it on this. I get to see something like this in like a big ass like just the wall, everything like that. Just big ass $1 million home. Like, yo, what is this, bro? Yo, it's that Archie dog. It's
Pump
that
it up, yeah.
fire dog. Um, with that was different with the I guess your go to. Do you have like a go to if it's the I guess the acrylics that way or I'm gonna forget all the terms, so don't hate me on this, man. I apologize.
Oh,
But like
you're all good,
the
man.
ways you do it that way, do you have a go to like there, or is it just kind of whatever you're feeling that way, and you just go? What is that creative process like?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Definitely in terms of like acrylic pour versus sort of palette knife technique, it's definitely more so grown into palette knife. Just felt like um, there's a lot more raw emotion and like um, there's a yeah there's just a lot more to it. I think with acrylic pours, it's sort of there's a lot by chance and I don't know. I think maybe I've sort of consumed too many acrylic pours over time, so palette knife's just far more refreshing. But process as a whole, I think there's no real answer, man. I think I'm very experimental. So um, every piece, even if it's part of a collection where I'm meant to be following the same process or the same technique, I'm always tempted to explore what happens when I adjust this or when I change that or spend 8 hours on something that I shouldn't. Um, so yeah, always keen to like just create something new, innovate, and just like yeah, make me sort of blow my own mind as I'm making it. So yeah, always messing about, to be honest.
As an artist, because you kind of said as well, like sometimes you be messing with something for 8 hours or a little bit. Do you? And I guess every piece is probably different, but do you have like a gut feeling or something that tells you like, hey, this is done, or is it sometimes some of the pieces you've done you're like, damn, I wish I could do this, and this, and then it's some of like the best selling ones like that, or because I mean, as artists, I've asked it a couple of times where it's like, how, how do you know when you're done? How do you know when you're completed? You know what I mean? Do you usually know when you are done, or is it like, damn, I've been working on this for 12 hours, like it is what it is? Like, how, as an artist, do
Yeah,
you have, I guess, how do you find that process, that end?
yeah, that's a great question, man, and probably a pretty hard one to answer, but I think it is just a feeling, to be honest. I don't think, I mean, like you said, if you work on something for 12 hours and then you feel like you just need to get it out, don't think that's the right way to go. Personally, for me, I have to really sort of connect with it, and it's probably why my supply is so low in fragmented expressions. Like I've taken a while to release it over the past few months because I am a bit of um, perfectionist, which is what I'm trying to break away from in a way. But um, yeah, there just has to be. It's not really explainable. The feeling that you connect with the piece, but yeah, it just has to vibe, man. I mean, um, there's definitely so many outcomes where alternative outcomes that I haven't been happy with. So yeah, lots of refining, lots of retakes, and just trying to find new outcomes and enjoy the process at the same time.
Nice. No, I mean 100%. I know that always has to be like a harder question because sometimes I'm sure like I've done some paintings in the back. I remember the first time in high school, my art class. Like yeah, I literally had to draw a picture of my backpack. I'm like, yo, I can't do this. I'm not artistic like that. And and to this day I'm talking about like, yo, man,
Yeah,
that was just the fucking vibe. Like I was like, ooh, you know
yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah,
that's the stuff because I don't know. I played a lot of sports to things like that, and like to this day, I wish I had that picture because it was it's a process. It's not just like, hey, doing this. Like even the paintings, it's I guess with that the acrylics, it's background and foreground. It's a whole
yeah,
thought process, things like that. So that's the stuff that I appreciate it because I would always see art and be like, yo, that's cool, that's fresh, and then you know again those two pieces from good old high school, which I'm like, yo, this is some fire. Like I personally like it, and
yeah.
granted, of
Now you
course, high
got
school,
memories.
exactly, and that's the beauty of
Yeah,
art. I think I like as well, where again, it could be something that you made and you're like, man, I don't like it at all, but it can resonate with someone else that much
yeah,
more. Like, and that's the
100%.
beauty of it. It literally has a language of its own.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, it's always repeated, but especially with abstract, I guess the question is like, what does it make you feel? Does it make you feel anything? And if you can if you can answer that instantly without someone asking you, in a piece, then that's the goal really, just to make someone feel something and take something away from it that's unique to each person really.
And then I guess, man, I do have a question. I don't want to get, I guess, too personal or anything like that. You kind of, I guess, mentioned it before with the art, things like that, with the abstract. I guess you said you're kind of doing it because like just hectic, I don't know, maybe not thoughts, things like that, but like, is it
Yeah,
soothing making the like the art and that, or I guess I'm a visual person. Is it, like the to an extent like what you're painting, what you're putting on there is what you're like seeing type ordeal, or is it soothing
yeah, man.
overall? Honestly, like how does that?
I'm cool to sort of touch on the more personal note of it because I think it's important. It's sort of actually how I made my first few pieces. It was just not doing well at the time, just quite depressed, and I've sort of um, battled sort of with anxiety, the on and off for like the past few years, and obviously COVID and all that shit doesn't help.
For sure.
But the first few pieces I made during a time that just there was just really dark place, and I made these three pieces on Tez called Anxious Process, which is sort of just like a mini series. Um, Making those pieces, yeah, it was a relief. It was soothing. Um, and I noticed myself that so yeah, it's just those first three pieces on the right. Um, I noticed myself, yeah, just in that flow state, and my mind had shut off, and I'd escaped those thoughts, and just found something new to connect with, really. And so yeah, I've carried that through, and I guess always trying to find that flow state because that's the freedom, and that's just living in the moment and doing something you enjoy. So yeah, that's the story behind it, man. And I think um, yeah,
No, I
just
like it
the
that we
flow
said
state because that's the
living,
thing.
honestly, living in the moment. That resonates to me, honestly, because like that's when I tell those little stories that I was just saying with the backpack, the paintings of that, like there, like
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's living in the moment. It's having a memory. It's having you know a connection, things like that. And again, the reason I asked that is because again, when I think about literally it was a pencil drawing, and it was having it there, with the little finger, going it out that way to have the shadows. Like it was a whole in depth process, which I was like, man, like it's art's levels. You know what I mean? It's honestly fucking cool, to be honest with you. Um,
yeah, man.
with
It's
the
hard to explain as well.
it is sometimes, and other times I feel like an idiot because I'm like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's the vibe, it's this. Like I know what I'm talking
yeah,
about. Hopefully someone else does, or if not, I'm just that random guy. But with I was gonna say with the family stuff because I know I guess you said your brother was involved just in Solana, things like that. Because we've talked to artists, different projects, things in that nature of it. What was your brother one of the ones that was nagging you saying no, get on Solana even if it wasn't your own work? Was he one of the ones saying hey, come on, come on, come on, and you were like come on bro, no, or like how was that? Because a lot of times it's I guess on projects it's been like a brother or sister doing the artwork, and it's
yeah,
4 months of come on, what the hell, come on, was it like that,
yeah.
or how how
Um,
was that
it was
process?
it was pretty low key to be honest, but there was essentially I don't even know. I think he was just minting a few things with his mate. And he's pretty. I don't think he was too in on it all. I think his mate was sort of helping him out and just giving him tips. And then, like I said before, he mentioned the idea of me releasing work. Um, and I sort of went, oh yeah, I'll think about it. But then I did think about it a lot and went with it. And then over time he was like, "I need them in on Solana, mate. Like, what are you doing on Tez?" And I was like, "No, no, no, this is where it's
Worry
at."
about it.
Um, and then yeah, I looked like an idiot a few months later when I'm doing what he said I should have done. So yeah, I don't know if he dabbles too much in it anymore, to be honest, but. Yeah, do need to thank him. I think he said he wants a cut actually.
But yo, come on, bro. Listen, buy a painting, and then I got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fragmented expressions, that's what you're working on right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. So final four pieces actually. Yeah.
So the final four, I guess how many pieces for the people that are going to be listening, for the first time here in Ovio? I guess how long has this
Yeah.
been out? How many pieces do you have? Um, how did this one start again?
Yeah. So this is the main series that I started when I first came across the Solana. Um, so there'll be only 17, and there's currently 13, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and essentially, yeah, this links back to the process I was talking about earlier, where I take a physical, I scan it in, I go through various different ways of manipulating it digitally, and then I actually take the color and um, texture sort of information and repaint that through digital strokes. And so they're all slightly different, but they all sort of still feel connected due to the um, strokes being sort of separated and fragmented, hence the name. So it's sort of got like this pixelated, very slight pixelated brush look that, yeah, on the first piece that I made for it, I've just really connected with, and I've sort of just grown it out. And yeah, I've tried to not be too perfect with it, but every piece I'm trying to make different, so it's sort of a challenge. And um, I guess the one thing that I'm challenging myself with all the pieces are that you'll realize there's no actual negative space that's left,
Mm.
which is quite challenging because if I was to do that now, I would have OCD problems with the collection. So yeah, that's been a nice challenge to have in terms of filling out the whole canvas and using sort of one stamp of color from a specific painting. So yeah, it's been really fun and not easy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of wrapping it up and like I said before, like sort of experiment with so many different mediums and formats and ways of expressing my abstract stuff. So yeah, I'm keen to sort of on to the next chapter, but also sort of close this one out and say that it's a full collection now.
So it's gonna be a total of 17. Are they, I guess, out like certain, I guess, days, time, sequences that way, or when I guess the next four overall gonna be out, or
Yeah,
am I just looking at this wrong?
I can't give yeah, so yeah, four more. I think in the next definitely in the next month or so. Um Probably. There's no specific dates yet, just due to some opportunities and an event to auction some. So I'm sort of figuring that out in terms of how they'll drop.
For sure.
But yeah, over over May, I'd expect them all to be released.
I heard that. And then is it just on exchange.art where I guess this collection is, or where can they find these? I
Yeah,
guess this collection.
yeah, yeah. So they're all on Exchange, and they're also all on Form Function. Most of them have actually all originally auctioned on Olaplex, so that's why the volume number and stuff's a bit different. But Form Function shows the actual numbers from when they were originally auctioned, and the last four pieces previously were auctioned here as well. But yeah, the next four will be with Exchange to thank them for made the collection like verified and curated. So I thought done Olaplex, I've done Form Function, time to do some auctions on there for the series to finish it off.
Nice. As an artist, try to not put you on the spot, but I
Yeah,
guess why choose the form function exchange art as I guess as if I was a new artist that not knowing anything about soul, things like that. Are those just the
yeah,
easiest ones? Do you just vibe with them that way? What were your reasons to be on there?
yeah, man. I think when I first rocked up in Solana, Olaplex was sort of the place for auctions, or the only place really that I knew of. So that's the reason there. Um, and then I guess yeah, gradually there was not to talk down Olaplex or any of the platforms really. It's all sort of all great to have. There was just a couple of issues, and Exchange Art released auctions, and then they recently had their UI update, which is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a more sort of collection focus. So that shift to exchange is pretty natural, and there was easy secondary listings and just all the great things that Exchange does. And then later, form function popped up, and I think as you can see, that the UI and design on form function is just probably a bit too pretty not to try out. So yeah, we tried that out, and they had the cool like auction chat feature, and I think I think maybe just having something new that seemed quite just really clean and professional. I was just keen to try it out, and the fact that you can have your prices align with wherever else they are on other platforms, I felt why not have an extra place? And yeah, that's sort of my take on the three. I think they're all good for each other, and yeah, a bit of competition is healthy. Um,
100%.
but yeah, they
Options
all
are
do
good.
so much for the community as well.
Um, the question I was gonna ask, maybe silly question, but with the process when you're saying like you're making these, you're scanning them in. Is it simple wise as like you see like your physical canvas and you take a picture literally with your phone, or you got a big ass like scanner you put it on there, or I've always wondered, I guess been too embarrassed to ask the question because I was like, I just scan it and do this, do it like that. Is
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
just like that and you put it on like the photoshops things in that nature of it, or realistically how does that process work for someone who's like, man,
yeah.
I want to do this? Because honestly, I'm that person where my cousin, he got some fireworks. Like he's really good, but of course I'm the famous. I'm like, hey, come on, nah, don't worry about it. So like, how do those processes work in that essence of it?
Yeah, it's a really good question, man, because it's actually something as I was look like I've asked before to other artists and people who have inspired me, who sort of have done a similar process where they do scan things in. So I found out that um, some of the bigger, better sort of film scanners are best for sort of the amount of detail you want. I um, don't know how big they make them, but my one's fairly large. It's probably like um, maybe just under A3. So not massive. It wouldn't fit a massive canvas or anything like that. Of course, you can do like multiple scans and stitch them together. But for
Right.
that reason, I actually do quite small paintings. And when the intention is to use them digitally, I don't think that um, takes away from anything because once it's digital, um, it's a whole new sort of perspective because the scale is different and the quality and textures. You just feel closer up to everything. Um,
Word.
yeah, that's what I do, man. I think it's yeah, it's just a really good Epson one. Um, it cost me quite a bit, but it's probably been the best investment I've made, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I already wanted exactly on that because I mean I'm sure pictures, even of course the phone's got the 4K stuff, but I'm sure the quality to an
Yeah,
extent is better with the more professional stuff. But that stuff, I don't know. If you're talking about some mixer, some of the soundboards, I got you a little bit on that one. You know what I mean? But the other stuff, I'm be like,
yeah,
it makes sense now. What brand? Let me hit Google real quick.
yeah,
Best top. You know what I mean? Um, with the kind of back to like to the creative process on in general with these I guess this collection. How long does on average like one of these take? Is it again the 8 hours, 2 hours? You work on a couple of days process, or again every piece I'm sure is
yeah,
different to an extent. But
yeah.
how long on average would you say each piece would take?
Oh, yeah, good question, man. I think earlier on, I had a few already sort of complete, and I was just excited to share. So maybe there was less thought process and less of a back and forth in my mind about what I'm liking, what I'm not liking. So um, nowadays, yeah, like I said before, it really differs on how I vibe with it. It could be a day, it could be um, it could be a few hours where, like I say, I've done the physical painting, so I've already scanned it in terms of digitally painting it and manipulating it. It could be, a night of playing around and I end up with something that I really like. Um, So yeah, my experimental like sort of rabbit hole moments can I can sort of lose track of time and end up with too many options. So I sort of do more of a create a lot, maybe every night, and then review the next day or whenever I get time, and either change things, expand upon it, or say that's it, that's the one that works. So no, so far not really a concrete answer, but yeah, changes a lot.
No, 100%. I don't even know if there is technically always a concrete answer, but it's always intriguing to, I guess, hear, just because again, the little picture that I did on the little, penciling out. Granted, of course, it was school and everything, but the thing took like probably 2.5 weeks. Again, school is different. Where it's like 30 minutes, 45 minutes on that. But I'm
Yeah.
like, it has to be a process on that one. And then sometimes I'm sure it's boom, boom, boom. And it's like, yo, actually, I do like this. Like, why can't everyone be
Yeah.
like this? With the I guess with the selling of your artwork, did you do, I guess, like, did you sell a lot, or I guess try to sell in like the Web 2 forums, days like that? Or was it just like the side hustle there? I know you said, I guess you went on, like, you said you traveled a lot, actually. I think you said with doing the photography and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess realistically, I mean, not to be all up in your grill, but did you make a lot of money that way, or was it harder making money there than here? How are those two
Yeah.
worlds different?
Again with the questions. Yeah. So never sold any abstract stuff before NFTs actually. I was actually, I mean, I still am pretty um, reserved about it, to be honest, with
Yeah,
sort of
and
real
you don't
life
have to say
friends
anything
and
you don't ever want to. So don't feel like you can be like, "Yeah, shut the hell up." I'm like, "Hey, you're good, bro. My bad, bro."
you're all good, man. So yeah, I'm sort of don't really push it out just because I don't have many sort of abstract friends, would you say? Yeah, it's definitely new. But in terms of photography, um, in terms of selling artwork and prints, um, did a couple here and there to sort of friends I had, sort of mutual friends I had on Instagram and stuff like that. But even then, um, I was sort of shocked with the price and sort of the ability to make a profit off sort of the printing costs and things like that. So um, yeah, completely different world, man. In terms of the ease of selling things and in terms of not no overhead and costs like that. So um, yeah, it's all very new, and that's why I think it's been so surreal. And I sort of have to pinch myself the fact that we're even talking about things like this right now. So yeah,
No, man, I love it. I mean, with the first sale that you had, I'm assuming it's probably on Tezo.
yeah,
Do you remember that feeling? Like, I don't know if it was $1, $2, $4 billion. Like, what was that feeling when you were like, you know what, I'm gonna try and put it on here. The art's cool, you know what I mean? Because with me personally, I'm hard as hell on myself for, I mean, for, I guess, good
yeah,
reasons, bad reasons. But everyone's like, bro, chill. I'm like, no, you see this one thing? It's like, no, I can't even still see it, but no. But how was that feeling putting it on there? And like, do you remember I guess the art you sold? Like, what was that feeling like? Just actually selling it
yeah.
on a
Yeah,
blockchain.
so it's actually, yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, it was actually on Hen, which was one of the top, one of the best platforms on Tez, and it was, unique to itself. It was slow. It was almost like, it was almost felt like Web one in a way, where, things weren't always working properly, or it was just slow to load, and um, just the design of it was just, yeah, hard to explain, but just vintage but perfect. And so the process of actually uploading it and minting it was hard enough in itself. And I was speaking with sort of the first friend I made on Twitter about doing it right, if it worked. So it was stressful. And I was only selling them for like, $2 for like 10 editions each. Um, then, yeah, eventually all sold out. And one night I remember sort of on Tesla, so you can sort of get like a Telegram notification for whenever anything sells. And so I remember sitting outside one night and just like 8 come through, and I'm like, it's 80 bucks pretty much right there, just like
Yo.
instantly. And I was like, I'm not doing anything right now. This is insane. And yeah, I remember just sitting there, massive smile on my face. Like, yeah, it's just hard to believe, man. So yeah, it's been quite a different format since then in terms of running auctions. It's a bit more intense because you're watching a clock. So yeah, it actually reminds me maybe I need to do some more listings like that where you sort of just set it and forget it, you know. Yeah,
No, I like it, man. Because I mean, it's always honestly, you can always hear the even though you're not on camera, you can hear when people smile, bro. I love it. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's like,
yeah,
it wasn't that cool. He got the biggest smile on you, and well deserved. Don't get me wrong, nothing like that. Like that's
yeah,
honestly that's the beauty of it. Because I mean, like again, I try to get my sister because ironically my sister really good photographer, but of course, good old family members. It's always the hardest. I'm like, yo, just send me some work. I'll try to put it on. But of course, no one there.
yeah.
The So I mean, do you still mess honestly with the other blockchains? Or are you just like a Solana Maxi now, or are you still fucking with everything? Like, and it's okay if you fucking with everything. There's
Um,
no wrong answer. But like, where
yeah,
can people find you in general?
yeah. I think I'm an unintentional Solana maxi at the moment. I'm open to everything, really, man. But with focus on this collection, um, sort of, I don't like to sort of focus on too many things at once. So, yeah, Solana is where I'm at. But Tez, I will release more things as we go on. Just because, yeah, there's a still weird connection with that place, and the art on there is just, yeah, beautiful. There's so many like underrated artists on Tez. But yeah, maybe Eve one day as well. We'll see. I guess, yeah, just one thing at a time for now. Yeah.
No, definitely. With the, I mean, I was gonna say with the again the creative process, you kind of let us know on there. But with looking back hindsight, what type of I guess advice would you give yourself looking back now? Or any type of advice or anything you would give yourself like in hindsight now if you are back in the future and like pow what that or what type of things have you learned honestly that you weren't expecting that hey I didn't know this was gonna be a big thing in this realm
Yeah.
but what were some of those things?
Yeah, man. There's so many things to touch on really. Um, really question. I think it's probably just I just learnt how powerful Twitter is. I didn't really expect. Um, yeah, I didn't know how much of a correlation it has towards how many eyes you can get on your work on platforms, which is a bit of a problem. It is a bit direct at the moment, but um, when I first joined Twitter and tried to sort of jump into the space, I was really reserved and like sort of just scared to share things. Still do sometimes get that feeling, but yeah, I guess the biggest learning is just not giving a shit and just sharing the work you make, whether it's complete, whether it's not. Um, People love to see it, and I don't know if it's because we're all bundled in this sort of art space where we all want to hype each other up, but either way, I think there's so many artists out there, even collectors, who want to see things. So um, I think it's just share and your thing. Yeah, there's probably so many other points in terms of like specifics on like selling work and auctions and promoting yourself, but I think to simplify it all is just share your work and do your thing.
No, I think as simple as that does sound, it is a honestly big thing because even myself honestly because I'm not in a lot of spaces because I go to regular work, but even myself, it's a natural. I guess if it's not natural, maybe I'm not natural, but it's a natural feeling to feel like, and honestly intimidated. I think at least going into the spaces,
Yeah,
even though it's kind of funny, even though I run the podcast stuff like that, I really wouldn't think about it back in the day. I'd be doing this stuff because again, like I told you before, I'm smart, but I'm also not that smart. So I'll be asking the dumb questions. I'm like, man, like I'm that guy right now, but at the same time I'm sure there's a whole bunch of more of me's out there as well, which, I'm okay to
Yeah,
ask that question, because if I'm the person to ask the question and someone else can learn something, or again, something,
yeah,
realize, oh, okay, well, I can say it like this. Like, that's the beauty of, as cliche as it always sounds, like, literally helping someone is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course, you got to have
yeah,
money to live, bills, everything else like that. But, I mean, I've said it probably too many times on the podcast in general, but that's why I've started the podcast, because, again, if I'm working 24/7, there's always alpha for days in the Twitter spaces, but sometimes people can't be in
yeah,
there. You know what I mean? And it could be Joe Schmo or Joe Schmo who's a billionaire, and they see your work, someone else's work, they like it, or vice versa. They might be like, hey, I like this work, and then let's do a podcast, and like, yo, this guy's a dick.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Because people buy work, but people
yeah.
people buy the person. You know what I mean? Like, it's
100%, man. 100%. Yeah, and yeah, thank you. I think it's important. I've honestly been pretty sort of quiet to speak up and a bit scared. Only recently did a few spaces recently, my first few ones. So yeah, sort of pushing myself a bit as well coming on here. Um, I think I've had a few voice breaks. There's one. So yeah, I think it is true. Sort of, they're buying into the artist as well. So being able to talk and just express yourself naturally, um, speaking about approaches and our takes on things. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
100%, man. Doesn't matter what you're in. It might sound dumb again, but real recognize real is one of the realest statements I know of, because
Yeah,
that's simple but real as well. Um, I was looking at time. I got you over the 30-minute marker, right at 47 seconds. So I'm gonna hold you for a couple more minutes, because people don't know I made you wait like 45 minutes extra. So my bad on
no
that
stress.
one. Um, but with I guess with the things you kind of maybe a big question overall, but like the things you want to be kind of known for, like with your art, have you ever, like, I guess, thought about it like that, like what do you want to be known for in that essence of it, or where do you want to see your art in the next, we'll say, year, but of course crypto, it could be like tomorrow's next year, but where do you want to see yourself in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Like, where do you want to see your stuff?
Yeah, it's a really good and hard question once again, man. Um, I think everyone's dream is to be able to sort of just focus on the art and um, be able to live off that really, um, and feel a sort of a sense of comfort with it. But nothing's guaranteed in that way. So I think in terms of the work, um, just having that recognizable style and approach to things, and I think I think the main thing is just continuing to sort of um, take a feeling and create a reaction that people need to express and let me know um, what they feel, and I think that's the goal really, to make, like I've said before, it's just making people feel things. So if I can do that and make it distinct to my style and try new things and continue just to innovate on my work, then I'm happy. Um, Sales wise, who knows what's going to happen moving forward. So yeah, I think it's good and healthy to just focus on that.
No, 100%. Where where I guess, where can people find you overall? I had your I think your link tree up. You got Instagram for some stuff, Twitter. Where your go
Yeah,
tos? Where can people find you? What's your favorite personally
yeah.
on yours?
Yeah, so Twitter is probably the best place to sort of stay up to date with me. But yeah, I have two Instagrams as well. One's sort of more for abstract and the other for photography, but they're not very active. So um, yeah, Twitter's a spot. And yeah, if you head to my Twitter, my link tree will be there, and you can find all my links to the collections, secondary market, as well as my website. So yeah, that's all there. But Twitter's the main spot.
The main go to. Heard that. Um, and we've I'll kind of wrap it up on this one. I mean, we've kind of went over a lot of things. Granted, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we haven't, gone over. Is there anything that I guess you are working on that you can tell us a little bit about? I know you're still working on the 4 things on there,
Yeah.
or anything that we haven't really honestly touched on that you want to just let people know about, or I guess
Yeah.
closing concerns, closing comments.
Um, yeah, I don't think there's any um, thing really super important points that we need to bring up. Like I think sort of had a really good discussion um, generally about things. I guess in terms of what's to come after fragmented expressions, I guess I'll be getting a bit more glitchy. So yeah, the
Okay.
next series is something I've been playing with for a while actually already. So I sort of discovered it already, and very keen to sort of jump um, into sort of a different world. Really, they're similar, but it's yeah, like I said, I'm keen to um, try that, trial some new experiments and enter a slightly different approach to things. But it will use the same process as starting out with physical painting. So I'm excited about that connection and exploring that moving forward.
Nice. I like it. I'll see if I can't get you on another time to talk a little bit about that. But before we talk
Yeah.
about that, we'll worry about the main stuff you got going on and keep that as a little bait for some other people to be like, what the hell is he glitching about? Hold on. Um, but now on this one, honestly, and then we're probably going to honestly wrap it up because, again, I could talk for days, but I don't want to take your time, and I've already taken most of your time already. But real
You're a good
talk,
man.
man, I appreciate you coming on, take some time out of your afternoon, and just sharing about yourself and just showing some love, man. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thanks for everything you do. And yeah, like I said before, I love the show, and you get so many great people on. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to be in the position of so many artists I've watched. But yeah, thanks again, man.
No, 100%, man. I appreciate the kind words as well. Stick around for a quick second. I'm going to end it kind of like how I started. But I don't want to be rude and be like, all right, deuces, bro. But stick around, and I'll be right back, all right? All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one more time. Let's get it. Episode 85 with Archie Morley. One more time, if you're not already, go ahead and follow at Archie Morley. That's at ARCHMOLEY. And if you're not already, go ahead and hit the follow button on Thugbirds, Thug Pod, Thug Dow. Go ahead and follow us on just about every platform out there as far as the podcast goes. So until next time, y'all, stay fresh, stay clean, stay positive. And one more time.